Hey, everybody, welcome to this week's Star Report. This is Jason, and it is January the 25th. I was like, I can't find a calendar anywhere on the screen. January the 25th, Wednesday, and I am here in downtown Brenham at New Dimensions Crystals and Reiki in Brenham, Texas. You can check out newdimensionscrystals.com if you want to see about the services that I offer over here, and if you want to stop by and find the rock shop and say hi. Let's get right into the report. This week, the sun has been just as active as last week, although we might have some reprieve coming up over the next few days. We just had a couple of M-class solar flares that did not have a CME, a coronal mass ejection, so nothing is heading Earth's way. But those things will cause sort of a brain fog or a disruption in your thought process, so pay attention to that. Today, Wednesday, we were expecting it yesterday. I say we, the weather reports that I watch about solar weather. We're expecting a coronal hole, right? So the coronal hole stream sends extra plasma, which causes the Earth to compress, which makes you feel heavy some days. We're expecting a coronal hole stream to hit with us today. We're expecting it yesterday. And so sort of pay attention, also a double whammy, but just sort of a disorienting, slower feel like you're sort of walking through thick air. And then all the other things that the sun's doing, right, is going to be in play. But all of the active solar flare regions are starting to turn away, so they'll be blasting away from Earth-facing stuff. So there'll just be minor disruptions. So you can actually, even though the sun is ramping up that we talked about over the next 3 to 5 years, it is ramping up in cycles, right? So just sort of expect a plateau, and for that to be awesome. And so that coronal hole stream makes way today, or it's fitting that today it makes way for finding motivation, right? So all of the retrogrades are over until April the 21st, right? So we're sort of moving in this forward direction, and sometimes it feels a little odd, right? So we have this little reprieve where the sun has put all its solar flares not facing Earth direction, and we are having this energy of the retrogrades all being gone. So we have this forward motion, this ability to create for ourselves without having to do, not without having to do, but without deep introspection of the retrogrades, causing us to have things that we needed to fix or repair about those issues in our life, whether that be Mars and our anger and our control, or Mercury with our communication and relationships. All of that stuff is, we are at an opportunity point where we can move forward and not be sort of anchored back into that. And so that sometimes freaks people out. And we are want to reinsert drama back into our lives. And so when things get better, we still have a memory of when they weren't. And so we have an expectation that they might come back and be not better again. And so that expectation, that energy that we're sort of putting in it, sort of gives you the opportunity to try and stay stuck. But this energy of the coronal hole and the Mars energy sort of lifting is sort of made way for you to realize that you can no longer waste energy on drama, and you should use that energy to sort of manifest your life. And so that's today, Wednesday. The energy is just really sort of pumped up for you to move through and clear out after the new moon, all the new stuff, right? And so to begin anew. And so it just feels weird because you don't have the same hiccups or drawbacks or thoughts in the back of your mind about this might just be a repetitive cycle. And so when you're thinking that, it's kind of hard to move forward, right? It almost feels like you're missing something or you're not quite ready. But what it is you're unhindered. And so pay attention to that energy over the next couple of days. And then that leads us into tomorrow, the Saturn shadow. We were in that Saturn return, and then those couple of years from 2020 to 2022 of everything that was sort of being undone in our society that we sort of dealt with, right? And so the shadow of that is sort of over, right? And so this energy of today moves into tomorrow, where that Saturn energy finally regulates and it can begin energetically, right? So this really is a brand new start, a whole new you. And sometimes when we're starting to recreate our lives or start to do something new, this happens with New Year's resolutions too. It almost feels like we're being fake, right? Fake it till we make it. But really, you're giving the energetic opportunity that you really aren't the old person anymore. You don't have any of those tendencies unless you start to reinsert them into your life. Right. And so this is sort of that energetic, like, what do I do? What kind of work have you done on yourself? Sort of regulate, like, what was the point of all that work, or what's going on? Just sort of think of the last 4 months, the aspects in your life, because that's when Saturn went direct. Just over the last 4 months of your life, what's excuse me, when Saturn was in retrograde, what's gone on in your life that you've started to fix? Is it jobs? Is it self-image? Is it attire? What are you working on? Is that you? What are you creating with that? That's the energy that's really going on. Friday, just sort of enjoy that the last 4 months has been difficult for everybody, but the planet is really ready for something new. And so you'll sort of see that there's lots of repetitive things in the culture that are going to try to trigger the old angers, the old divisive stuff that happened in our society over the last couple of years about who are we as a people and what are we going to do about that, right? But you'll sort of feel that it has less pull, and that has a couple of things. That those things are no longer true, but also you see that you are beyond what you're being told you are, and so you're making the choices for yourself. So all of this energy since 2020 has really been able to create a new you, and you really are more sovereign. You have more autonomy. You're not bound by popular attire, popular music, popular whatever, right? You don't have to be in the same genre as everybody, and even everybody in your friends group or your family, right? And it's okay. It's not that you're a rebel. It's not that they're bad. It's that you've created your own life. And so that's the energy of now. And so that sometimes seems a little bit heavy. When we are responsible for choosing who we are, and it doesn't matter, or it is not governed by something from outside ourselves, whether that's the way our parents did it, or the way our spouse or friends do it, or the way culture's doing it, or the way the law says we should do it, right? All those kinds of things are like, well, then who am I at my core? And so this last 4 months has really been a discovery of that. And so now it's time to sort of turn the lights on. If you were a kaleidoscope or a lampshade, what you're really doing is trying to turn your inner light on, so that casts a light into the new room, into the new space of what is it like to be me, and what kind of world does that create around me, right? What does the light of me look like reflected off of the people that are in my life? This is getting kind of headsy, but it's kind of cool because that's the energy, right? And so it's not necessarily even about what are the stars doing. It's about what is your relationship to the stars. So think of it, instead of not what these stars are doing to me, but what am I, because of the arrangement of the stars, allowed to broadcast out. That gives us Friday, just enjoy that sort of nice calm into Saturday. That's the end of the Pluto shadow, right? So all of the hidden things that we'd sort of been dealing with, like we didn't know. Sometimes this is family secret stuff that has sort of come up. Sometimes this is just things or understandings about yourself that you discovered over all these retrogrades. And that leads us into Sunday, which is the 30th, almost out of January, which is a master day. And so that means it's a master 11 day. And so that's just the energy of able to choose, able to control, able to do. But we're also into the year of the rabbit, right? And so all of this release of anger, all of this discovery of who you are, all of this accomplishment, all of this, shaking away of things that we discovered about ourselves that we may or may not liked, sort of turns into the 30th. And I know the lunar new year of the year of the rabbit was last week, but that energy really starts to kick in on Sunday, right? For that nice leap. We still do offer elemental rhythm breathwork here on Sundays at 10 a.m. So if you want to sign up for that, go ahead and sign up on the website at newdimensionscrystals.com. And you should see that at the top of the page, also a video explaining what goes on in an elemental rhythm breakthrough session. And so that energy to just sort of break through and do something new, just run fast, right? Keep your eyes open, mind that your feet are on the ground, stay grounded, but just decide who you want to be and use that energy of the rabbit, right? Which is able to create, right? So this is the energy of the sacral chakra, right? So rabbits have this history of being able to reproduce really quickly, right? And so reproduction and creativity is really around the sacral chakra. So this is really about creating the life, emanating what you want into the world and allowing it to happen, and being unstuck from what you didn't want in the first place, or what you discovered wasn't working through all of these retrogrades that are now gone, right? And so we have this basically, what is it, 3.5 month period, right, till 420, 421, right? And so don't wait till 420 to wake up, right? Go ahead and start to wake up now, act and do the things, right? So that's the Sunday energy, which leads us into the Monday. You're gonna really find out how to voice that. What is this that you're creating? Your throat chakra is going to open up, right? We sort of said over the last couple of weeks that the throat chakra has been activated or attuned to a higher level, right? So that sort of means that this part that we speak into our world, right, whether that's in our head and our mind, or whether we're saying that out loud to others, this is really how we start to create, right? We create the sound, the vibration, the abracadabra. I create as I speak, or I speak what I create, or what I speak comes into creation. Those kinds of aspects of the throat chakra should be really prominent on Monday. And then that leads us into Tuesday, the 21st, when we're really going to feel like the old baggage is just got left at the station, right? So this is really a repackaging of what you're taking into the newness, right? So just imagine you're packing for a vacation is the energy of the cosmos. You're packing for a vacation and you've got too many things. Like somebody says the suitcase is too heavy and you got to take stuff out, or you got to leave the suitcase behind because it's an amount of money you can't afford to pay to take that with you. So what's going to happen on Tuesday with this master energy, the year of the rabbit? On Monday, when we find our voice, we're just going to jump on the train and we're going to leave tons of baggage just sitting there on, I don't know, does anybody take trains? At the airport, we're going to leave a lot of stuff unattended, and it's going to freak some people out that we can just leave things behind, and they're going to be worried what's in those bags, and they're going to be worried about you, but don't worry about yourself because it's going to be fine. And Tuesday is the day to sort of jump on the ride for the new you. And that's the energy of the stars. It's being powered by the sun. You've got a reprieve this week and all the extra flares that were coming at our direction over the last week. So I think you're going to be fine. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you can. Share this on your social media. I think if you have questions too that you want answered, I do read the questions. Most of them are comments that come on the videos. But if you have questions about what's going on, or questions about the stars that you want answered, or even sort of metaphysical questions, go ahead and put those in the comments or send those to me at the shop email, which you can go through from the website, newdimensionscrystals.com. Sign up for the breathwork, and until next week, many blessings.